Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Land Use Committee. I'm Councilman Ed Weisiger, Chairman of the committee. Before we begin, I just want everyone to know that the hearing on Bill 20-0556 that was scheduled for today has been rescheduled for December the 2nd. And at this time, I'm going to turn everything over to the staff person, Matt Peters. Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee members, when I call your name, please respond for the record. Chairman Reisinger.
Here.
Thank you. Vice Chair Sneed.
Here.
Councilwoman Clark.
Here.
Councilman Costello. Looks like Councilman Costello is not here yet. Councilman Dorsey. Councilman Dorsey is also not here yet. Councilman Pinkett.
Here.
Councilwoman Middleton.
Here.
And Councilman Stokes.
I am here.
Thank you. Before we move on, I'm just going to do a quick presentation on process for public testimony for everyone who's joining us from the public. Anyone who is connecting via computer, we ask that you use the raise hand function to let us know if you wish to testify. Users who call in cannot be identified by name and do not have a raise hand function available to them. And so we will unmute them one by one during the public testimony portion of the hearing. If you've called in and you do not wish to testify, please say so when you're unmuted. Attendees will hear 2 beeps when they are unmuted, and we ask that each speaker state their name prior to speaking. And if a speaker is inaudible, they'll be asked to call back or provide their testimony through the chat function in WebEx. And on this screen, you can see where the controls are for the raise hand function in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. If you click on participants, you should then have the hand icon there that is circled. If you're having problems with the raise hand function, you can also use the chat function to let us know that you'd like to testify. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Matt. We will start with City Council Bill 20-0566. The purpose of changing the zoning for the properties known as 3215 West Belvedere Avenue, Block 4582, Lot 018, also 3317 through 3323 West Belvedere Avenue, Block 4580, Lots 3, 4, and 5, 5101, 5103 Denmore Avenue, Block 4582, Lots 019 and 20, 5100 Denmore Avenue, Block 4580, Lot 001, and Block 4580, Lots 038 and 039-055, as outlined in red on the accompanying plat, from the R6 zoning district to the OR1 zoning district, and providing for a special effective date. All the public notice requirements have been met. So at this time, I'm going to recognize the sponsor, Vice President Sharon Green Middleton. This is your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just quickly, I'm pretty excited about this piece of legislation moving forward. As I had mentioned some time ago when I introduced the bill, that Park West Medical Center has been a staple in the Central Park Heights area for nearly 50 years. Just giving all kinds of resources and services that a lot of people aren't aware of. In fact, just recently, I found out that they now offer acupuncture. So, and they have been doing things for students that have kind of been suffering traumatic situations for a long time as well. Dental, just all kinds of health needs. So they have been a strong staple in that community, and happy that they are now wanting to expand. They have met with the churches in that surrounding area, particularly Brown's Memorial and I was going to say Rehoboth Ministries, but it's a part of the Church of God in Christ that has been there for a long time too. So, and it's a set of parking lots there that I think this particular development is enticing this faith-based area and some of the commercial area to also kind of clear up and start working on that space. So, thank you for your support, and it went through the planning commission. The people are just following the rules and doing everything the right way. Excited about this for me, it's like the kickoff of that area. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. We'll start with the agency reports, planning staff.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. This bill and its companion bill, which is also an urban renewal amendment, was heard by the Planning Commission in their meeting of August 20th. Both were recommended favorable with amendments. The rezoning bill is here before you today. It was brought, as the sponsor mentioned, for Park West, who their existence there for decades. They were actually made non-conforming through the comprehensive rezoning that became effective in 2017. So this proposal will take them, the adjacent churches, and a surface parking lot from the residential zoning to the OR1 district, which better suits their existing conditions as a node, separating them or providing that separation between the heavier commercial to the north and residential to the south. We had a section of findings that the Planning Commission recommended for your consideration. That's more detailed in our staff report, but we believe that this should satisfy the mistake finding, and we would recommend the Commission to adopt our amendment, which is to remove, there are two parcels, and hopefully you should have a revised plat map that was submitted by the applicants. There were two small parcels that were interblock parcels that look like a little tail going to the southwest that are between properties that face Spalding and Belvedere. One is kind of it looks like an alley, but it really isn't. It's a long strip of land, and then one's a smaller interblock parcel. We recommended those be removed, and the Planning Commission concurred with that, since there's not really any functional reason for them to be rezoned to OR, since they're kind of internal lots. We would recommend favorable with those amendments.
So those lots are just unimproved lots, right there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Tito? No? Okay. Thank you, Eric. We will now go to BMZA.
The BMZA recommends approval of this bill with the amendments proposed by planning.
Thank you. DOT. DOT has no objection. The Law Department.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Elena DePietro for the City Law Department. Law Department's position is that this is an appropriate method for the City Council to review the facts and make a determination of whether the legal standards for rezoning have been met. And assuming that you make the required findings and follow all the procedural guidelines, the Law Department can approve the bill for formal legal sufficiency.
Okay. So the finding of facts are good, right?
I think planning has set forth in its report some facts that are in support of this.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, this is Liam Davis from DOT. I just wanted to concur with you that DOT stands by its report.
Thank you, Liam. Appreciate it. HCD.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. DHCD stands by our report. No objection.
Thank you. BDC. BDC? BDC's stated that they were favorable for the bill. If there's no questions from committee members, we go on to public testimony. Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As a reminder to everyone from the public who's joining us, we ask that you please use the raise hand function to let us know if you would like to testify. We have Caroline Hecker, representative for the applicant.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Caroline Hecker, Rosenberg, Martin, Greenberg, on behalf of the applicant. I'd like to thank Councilwoman Middleton for her support of the bill and for introducing this. This is a very important bill to allow Park West to expand its medical facility on Belvedere Avenue. We also have on the line, I believe, although I can't see all the other participants, Patrice Wallace and Jeff Ratnow, who are with our development team. We agree with the findings that the Planning Commission found. We submitted additional findings, in fact, for the committee's consideration in a written memorandum that was also submitted to the Planning Department. We also submitted, and you should have in front of you, 10 letters of support from the various community associations, faith-based organizations, the churches in the area. This project really enjoys a tremendous amount of public support. And we also do agree with the amendments that the Planning Commission recommended to remove the 2 unimproved lots from the proposed rezoning, and we submitted an amended plat to that effect, which you should also have in front of you. We're happy to answer any questions that you might have, but with that, we would ask for your support.
Thank you, Caroline. Just one question. Jeff Ratnow, back into.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, my sound went out for a sec. I didn't hear the end of what you said.
Yeah, Jeff Ratnow. He used to be president of Riverside Action Group.
He might have been. He was.
Okay.
I don't believe that.
Does any of my colleagues have any questions for Caroline? No? Okay. Thank you. Anyone else, Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It does not look like we have any additional public testimony.
Okay, good. So at this time, I need a motion to move the finding of facts. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
Moved by who?
Mary Pat Clark.
Okay, and second?
Second.
By Middleton?
Yes.
All those in favor of the finding of facts say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The finding of facts passed. There's amendments to this bill. Do I have a motion to move the amendments?
So moved. Clark.
Moved by Clark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Middleton. All those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Chair, question?
Go ahead.
Is this the amendment from the Planning Commission?
Go ahead.
This is the amendment from the Planning Commission?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You good?
Yeah, thank you.
Good. So
Motion on the floor.
So I need a motion to move the bill favorable as amended.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I don't believe we voted on the amendment yet.
We need to, yeah, we have a motion for the amendments.
Okay, and it was moved by Clark and seconded by Middleton. All those in favor of the amendment say aye.
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 Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The amendment's passed. Now I need a motion to move the bill favorable as amended.
So moved.
Moved by Clark.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, is that Middleton?
Yes.
Okay. Vice Chair votes yes. Sneed?
Yes.
Sneed's yes. Clark?
Yes.
Clark's yes. Costello? Costello? Absent.
No, he's there.
Eric? Is Eric here, Matt?
Mr. Chair, I do not see him.
Yeah,
Costello is absent. Dorsey?
Yes.
Dorsey, yes. Middleton?
yes.
Middleton's yes. Pinkett?
Yes.
Pinkett's yes. Stokes?
Talk to Councilman Costello. He said he is logging in. Yes, but I'm talking.
Councilman Stokes?
Costello said he logged in. Somebody got to unmute his phone.
Stokes, I just want to know, you vote yes?
That's me.
Somebody
Okay.
have to mute his phone. Okay, mine is a yes, but I was saying I just talked to Councilman Costello. He said he logging on now.
Okay. Councilman Costello, are you there? Councilman Costello? All right, we'll come back. You have 7 yes with 1 absent. If Costello comes back, we'll come back to it if he wants to vote on it. We will now, so this bill will come out on second reader November the 2nd, right? Yes. This will come out on November 2nd on City Council Bill 20-0566. We are now on.
Mr. Chairman, my sincere apologies. Did you already vote?
Yeah, we can go back.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it.
Okay. We'll go back to revote on 20-0566. Motion was by Clark, second by Middleton. Westsinger votes yes. Snead, yes. Clark, yes. Councilman Costello?
Yes.
Councilman Costello, yes. Dorsey's yes. Middleton, yes. Pinkett, yes. Stokes, yes. We have 8 yes, and this will come out on November the 2nd as amended.
Councilman. Thanks, Councilman Costello and all committee members.
We will now go to City Council Bill 20-0568. The purpose of approving certain amendments to the development plan of the Stadium Place Plan Unit Development. All the public notice requirements have been met. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to the sponsor, Councilwoman Mary Pat Clark. Councilwoman Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. This is Stadium Place, which is on the site of the old Memorial Stadium. And basically, this is an amendment to the planned unit development that was begun back on 2007. When this parcel was offered for sale, it was purchased by GEDCO, Govins Ecumenical Development Corporation, in partnership with the YMCA, and the YMCA at this site established its first YMCA in years to open within the city of Baltimore. And it's been very, very successful and outlived expectations. GEDCO is the master operator of the entire site, but this PUD amendment is mainly with the YMCA building there, the Weinberg YMCA. So the major amendments before us is that the YMCA is going to build a daycare building just north of its main property. It will house the daycare centers that it has been running for years very successfully. They need the space of the current attached daycare center to expand their YMCA programs. They're growing so well. In addition, in support of outside activities, there is a pavilion that will be built with a roof but not sides, so that in rainy weather or whatever, events can still be held. And that will also have bathroom facilities in the pavilion, which means people playing ball or exercising outside will not need to go all the way back into the building to the bathroom. And there also in this plan are splash pads, which are not coming online soon, but we wanted to get them into this amendment. And that will also be obviously on the outside of the YMCA. GetCo already has developed, it's just an amazing place. Gilchrist is getting ready to build there for a hospice and health program. We have over 400 elderly people who are living in units in that development, and more to come. It's very successful, and they're just now building a new property, which is already approved, which will have ground floor non-residential uses, and upstairs lots of new affordable housing for the elderly. And so GetCo's amendment is to increase the total amount of square footage in the PUD from 4,000, wait a minute, from 4,000 square feet to 8,000 square feet. Not that they're going to build a huge restaurant, but they want some flexibility to have maybe a couple of different places to eat throughout this PUD area. It's a great program. It's serving so many elderly people that have so few choices about where to go to live their golden years. And it's a great community of elderly, by the way. They don't act elderly, ever. And that's the best thing of it all, that they're active. They have, each building has its own community group with a president and officers, etc. It's a very lively place to live, and to visit. Thank you. And I ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. So at this time, any questions for Councilman Clark? At this time, we will go with the agent's reports to planning staff.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. This is with the Planning Department. The Planning Commission heard this bill at their August 20th meeting, recommended approval of the bill with two minor technical amendments having to do with simply updating notations on the plans, which I believe those updates have already taken place. But I'm happy to answer any of the questions. Thanks.
Yeah, Matt, the two, it's regards to the version of the drawings and also the sheets, correct? It's two technical amendments?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
We very much approve.
We haven't voted yet.
No, I'm just saying, I know, but we think the amendments are wonderful.
Okay, I appreciate that. No questions for Matt from Planning, BMZA?
The BMZA recommends approval of this bill with the amendments proposed by the Planning Department.
Thank you. DOT?
Here, DOT stands by its bill report, which is no objection.
Thank you. Let's go to the Law Department.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. This is Victor Overlook for the City Law Department. The Planning Commission's report, in order to approve the bill, we need to review a PUD according to conditional use standards. The Planning Commission's report doesn't have them, so we're looking for facts to establish those conditional use standards. And I believe, at least I saw an email this morning that had them in them. So I assume that somebody's going to be providing those facts, perhaps in testimony later on. But without those facts, we won't be able to move forward with the bill.
Okay, so you just, okay, I got you. We just got to do the finding of facts to the council, right?
Yeah, you have to find, somebody has to be presenting those facts to the council, and you have to agree with them, of course.
Okay, I got it. All right, thanks, Vic. Sure. HCD.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Stephanie Murdoch, Legislative Liaison for the Department of Housing. We stand by our report in support of the bill.
Thank you. BDC.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. It's Christina Moore with Baltimore Development Corporation. We stand by our report in support of the bill.
Public Works. Public Works.
Good afternoon, Chair. Mr. Chairman.
Good afternoon.
Marcia Collins from Department of Public Works. We support passage of this legislation as proposed to be amended by the Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you. Fire Department. If no one's there for the Fire Department, I understand they have no objection. Parking Authority Board.
Afternoon, Mr. Chair. We do not oppose the passage of the bill.
Okay, thank you. That concludes the agency reports. We will now go to public testimony. Matt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think we have a representative from the applicant who's on, Nicole Lacoste-Folks.
Hello, this is Nicole Lacoste-Folks. I am legal counsel to the Y in Central Maryland for this project. And I'll
Nicole,
yes.
Could I don't know if you ever done this, but we need a finding of facts. Since you're
Yes.
Could you do the finding of facts for us?
Do you want me to do those first? I can do that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, go ahead.
Great. Matt, are you able to put up that PowerPoint presentation? The last two slides are the finding of facts. We could just run through them point by point.
Yes, one moment.
We're jumping ahead.
Thanks, Nicole.
Yeah, no problem. It'll be the last two slides. 7 and 8. Perfect. Okay. So first, do you want me to, Councilman Reisinger, would you like me to run through the considerations and then the findings?
Yes.
Okay. So the considerations, the first consideration, whether the plan unit development is in general conformance with all elements of the comprehensive master plan, character and nature of existing and contemplated development in the vicinity of the proposed PUD. This PUD is in conformance with the city's comprehensive master plan. The proposed amendments and their design enhance the current site uses within the PUD. The changes requested in this amendment would only enhance the services that are already being provided to residents and visitors of the PUD by both Stadium Place Inc. and the Y in Central Maryland, and it would continue to support all the objectives set forth in the comprehensive master plan. And if it's okay, I'll continue. Number 2, whether the planned unit development will preserve unusual topographic or natural features of the land, and the design of the PUD will best utilize and be compatible with the topography of the land. This PUD is designed to be compatible with the existing topography and enhances and utilizes existing site features, which are all depicted on the PUD sheets, which have been submitted by the applicant. And there are no unusual topographic features within this PUD. Number 3 of the considerations, whether the physical characteristics of the PUD will not adversely affect future development or the value of underlying neighboring areas, or the use, maintenance, or value of neighboring areas already developed. The physical characteristics enhance future development, add value to the adjoining community, and provide a much needed recreational area for neighboring areas with the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation multi-use sports field, which is currently located in the PUD, and which will be enhanced with the pavilion, which Councilwoman Clark already described. The next consideration is whether the PUD will provide the same protection as the basic district regulations in regards to fire, health hazards, and other dangers. And this PUD provides the same protections as those basic district regulations in regard to fire and health hazards. And the proposed buildings are designed to meet current life safety and energy codes and the PUD legislation has been reviewed by the fire department with no objections to the passage of the bill stated. The next consideration is whether the planned unit development will encourage innovative design features or adaptive reuse of structures that would not be possible by application of the basic district regulations. Excuse me. And this PUD includes the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation multi-use sports field, which we all remember as the former field for Memorial Stadium, which was the home of the Baltimore Colts, the home of the Baltimore Orioles, and for a brief period of time, the home of the Baltimore Ravens. Site design preserves this valuable piece of Baltimore history, and it's important to note that the field honors the specific location of home plate. It's in the exact location as it was inside of Memorial Stadium. And the last consideration is whether the planned unit development is compatible with any nearby industrial district. This consideration is not applicable since this PUD is not nearby any industrial district. And I'll move on to the findings if there are no questions on the considerations.
Any of the committee members have a question on the consideration of the bill from Nicole before she does the finding of facts?
Mr. Chair, Mary Pat.
Yeah, go ahead.
All I want to know is, will this satisfy the law department conditions for the findings of fact? Or
let Nicole do the finding of facts.
Okay, but and then let's ask them after that.
That's the plan.
Thank you.
This was provided in writing to the law department this morning, so they do have a copy of these findings. So I'll move on to the first finding, and thank you. Let me move to the correct slide. So use is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood for the following reasons. Councilwoman Clark already covered much of the history, but I'll reiterate that this PUD was established in 2000 after the city designated a task force to consider possible reuse proposals for the former Memorial Stadium site. In response to an RFP issued by the city, GEDCO is the sole member of Stadium Place Inc., which is the applicant for these amendments, and the Y in Central Maryland. They jointly proposed redeveloping the site for retirement community and recreational facilities, as the councilwoman so aptly described. These uses are compatible with the surrounding neighborhood, and such compatibility is demonstrated in the support letters that have been provided for the approval of these PUD amendments from the Better Waverly Community Organization, Edner Gardens Lakeside Civic Association, Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, which is across the street from this PUD, several parents of children attending the preschool at the Y, volunteer board members of the YMCA, the Y in Central Maryland. They all submitted letters in support, and several residents living within the PUD in Edner Apartments have provided letters of support for these amendments to the PUD. Number two, the use furthers the proposed classification for the following reasons. It's because the property was no longer used for stadium purposes. The PUD area was thoughtfully designed to facilitate pedestrian and vehicular flow around the sports field and to bring senior housing and recreational facilities to the area. All intended uses in the PUD include uses allowed in the R7 zoning district, either permitted by right or conditional use approved by the BMZA. It includes residential care facilities, age-restricted residential care facility, healthcare clinic, indoor and outdoor recreational facilities, a community center, proposed restaurant, daycare centers for adults and children, offices, any business establishment permitted in the C1 zoning district, and then commercial vocational educational facilities for computer training purposes and retail good establishments for pharmaceutical sale purposes. Moving on to the third finding, the PUD master plan preserves the original design of the PUD with amendments that have been approved by the Planning Commission over the past 20 years. There will be no discordance with existing uses by the addition of the proposed Early Childhood Development Center, the pavilion, and the splash pad. And the PUD plans were reviewed by Site Plan Review Committee and the Planning Commission, and all recommended changes to the plans have been addressed and are included in the current version of the PUD sheets that have been provided to the City Council. Number four, These PUD amendments would not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, or welfare. And the 3 proposed construction sites, the Early Childhood Development Center, the Pavilion, and the Splash Pad, they all support healthy development, learning, and physical fitness. And the increase in the potential allowable space for a restaurant provides a service within walking distance for senior housing residents and visitors within the PUD, as well as to nearby communities. The PUD is a valuable asset to the city, providing services that provide the quality of life for all who benefit from the myriad of services provided there. Number 5, the use would not be precluded by any other law, including an urban renewal plan. This use is not precluded and is not included in any urban renewal plan, and the PUD is not in an urban renewal area. Number 6, the authorization would not be contrary to the public interest. And I know Councilwoman Clark covered this extensively, and I might repeat a lot, but authorization is certainly not in contrary to the public interest because the PUD provides valuable services to city residents. Current services include the mixed income housing and supportive services for older adults, the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Y at Stadium Place, and that community center, that Y, houses a licensed early childhood center, which is proposed to be moved to a separate building, a fitness center, a swimming pool, basketball court, a stay and play, which is supervised care for young children while their parents use the Y. There's a cycle and aerobics studio, locker rooms, administrative space, and multi-purpose space that's used for young, seniors, and the community programming. And the Village Center at Stadium Place is a mixed-use building within the PUD, and the Greater Baltimore Center Hospice Facility are both currently under development in the PUD, with final design approval by the Planning Commission granted in 2017 for Village Center, in 2019 for the hospice facility. And the proposed amendments to relocate the Early Childhood Development Center from the fitness center to a new building would allow the Y to increase the number of children able to attend its early childhood development programs, and then will give the Y the opportunity to enlarge the area of its fitness center. These amendments also allow for the construction of the pavilion with restrooms and a splash pad for families to enjoy. The restrooms will be used by people who are using the fields who currently would need to go into the Y Center to use the restrooms. With the pavilion, they would be able to use those, which would be a closer proximity. And the text amendments, this is important, the text amendments also bring the terms of the PUD up to date with the current version of the zoning code, because the bill was written pre-Transform Baltimore. So what we did was we went through the terms of the PUD ordinance, and we scrubbed out any term that was no longer current, and we replaced it with terms that are used in the current version of the zoning code. And then, as Councilwoman Clark already explained, the GEDCO's request to increase the allowable restaurant space provides flexibility to Stadium Place when seeking a restaurant tenant to open a new business in the PUD. And these improved amenities to the PUD all collectively benefit the public interest. And then the last finding, the authorization would be in harmony with the purpose and intent of the zoning code. This PUD complies with all aspects of Title 13 of the zoning code and meets all requirements for approval. And I ask if there are any questions.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Nicole. Victor, to keep us clean, is that good?
The statements made by Ms. Folks are certainly sufficient to move the bill forward.
Okay, thank you, Victor. Appreciate it. Any questions for Nicole? No? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. Great job. Matt.
Thank you, Councilman.
I just wanted to, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to thank Nicole. I just wanted to thank Nicole while she's still, tuned in here and answering questions, because she's done so much work. We have 2 Nicoles running this show, and they're both wonderful. And I just want to say thanks for all the work.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary Pat. She did a great job. Matt, anyone else?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll just give a reminder quickly for the public attendees to use the raise hand function if you would like to testify. Mr. Chair, it does not look like we have any additional testimony.
Thank you, Matt. Before we do our vote on the finding of facts, I just want to say, Councilwoman Clark, it looks and sounds like a great development project. Good job for you and Nicole and the community. No one called to protest. Knock on wood. It seems like it's all favorable. So at this time, do I have a motion to move the finding of facts?
Motion to move the finding of facts.
That was made by Middleton. Do I have a second? Second by Councilwoman Clark. All those in favor of the finding of facts say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Finding of facts is passed. Now we need a motion on the amendments.
Motion to move the amendments.
Moved by Councilwoman Middleton. Do I have a second? Do I have a second, Councilwoman Clark?
This is Sneed. I second.
Okay,
Yeah.
you second. Okay, Clark second. All those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The amendment's passed. Now we shall take a vote on Bill 20-0568 as amended.
Motion to move
Take a vote.
Second.
We've already been through there.
Oh,
We've already take a vote.
yeah.
The motion was made by Middleton and second by Councilwoman Clark as amended. Vice Singer votes yes. Sneed?
Yes.
Sneed is a yes. Clark?
Yes.
Clark's a yes. Costello? Costello's thumbs up. He's a yes. Dorsey?
Yes.
Councilman Dorsey's a yes. Middleton?
Yes.
Middleton is a yes. Pinkett?
Yes.
Pinkett's a yes. Councilman Robert Stokes?
Councilman Robert Stokes, yes. Mr. Councilman Wright, thank you.
Is a yes. We have 8 yes. Bill 20-0568 passes as amended. Will come out November the 2nd. And before we conclude, Councilwoman Clark, you have anything you want to say again before we conclude?
I just want to say thank you to this I want to say thank you to the committee. I want to mention Nicole Battle, the other wonderful leader of this effort, who oversees the whole PUD area. And I did ask everybody to keep it short. We didn't lose anybody when we needed those votes. And I thank everybody. I thank everybody, including this committee and our chairman, for getting us to this point. We're very excited about what's going to happen. When the YMCA came back to the city with a new center, they were real worried about success, and now it's so successful we can't contain it. It's wonderful. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
This concludes City Council Bill 20-0568, which will come out on on November the 2nd. Everyone be safe and careful. Thank you. This concludes the hearing.